As Executive Vice President of Housing and Services, I work with our staff in providing safe, well-maintained properties for residents in conjunction with support services to help residents meet their goals and thrive. Everything we do is focused on supporting CommonBond residents and building community. I'm delighted to be here with a small group of staff. They'll speak directly to some of the shifts we've made in working with our CommonBond residents. While our work might look a little different, our commitment to residents is stronger now more than ever. Vanessa, how has the pandemic shifted what residents might need and how you support them?
It has shifted quite a lot. Many residents have lost their jobs, either temporarily or permanently. The average wage among all CommonBond residents is a little over $16.5 thousand a year. So to help residents maintain housing stability, we've shifted our focus to helping residents access unemployment benefits and navigate the community supports that are available to them.
So as we've shifted the way we've provided services, how important is the partnership between residents and the staff who provide those services?
It is integral. Our services shifted pretty rapidly from entirely in-person to entirely remote. We've been working across languages and across levels of technology access, but it's because of these strong relationships we have with CommonBond residents, because of that partnership, that we've been able to stay in communication and have continuity in services despite the challenges. And it has been a challenging year, but CommonBond residents are still gaining employment and starting college and leading in their communities.
Sarah, can you tell us what supportive housing is and the number of CommonBond residents who live in supportive housing?
Absolutely. So supportive housing is part of the continuum of services that we offer here at CommonBond. It's really meant to provide housing to those with some specific backgrounds. In our case, it's usually those transitioning out of homelessness. When I started at CommonBond 6 years ago, we were providing supportive housing to about 78 households. And now 6.5 years later, we're providing those services to about 532 households.
Got it. With the increase of homeless encampments, has CommonBond had a response?
CommonBond has been part of the response to that. And so one of the projects where we've been able to do that specifically is in partnership with Red Lake, and the name of the project is Minobima Diziwin. It means living the good life in Ojibwe, and we've worked with our partners to go directly out into some of the local encampments within the Twin Cities and provide outreach to those and ask them, hey, do you have any interest? Would you love to come live in this affordable property that we're building and be part of this community?
Outstanding. Scott, you've been through quite a lot in Iowa. Tell us about the challenges you've all faced this summer above and beyond the pandemic.
Yes, 2020 was a very interesting year because we had COVID-19, and then in Iowa we also had a natural disaster, the derecho storm, which is basically a land hurricane. So most of our properties in Iowa, 90% of them were without power for a week. We had to focus on the basic needs of our residents, and that was food, medical needs, and communication.
I understand that mobility has been a challenge for many of our seniors since the storm. Can you share how you and your colleagues have supported our residents?
Yeah, immediately after the storm, we quickly discovered that we did have residents who weren't able to get out of their units, weren't able to get out of the apartment to take care of those basic needs. So we did daily well checks for our residents who we knew couldn't get out. We delivered food to them. And then we also made sure that their phones were charged so that they could be in touch with their caregivers or their friends and family, because that was a really important part of all of this, is communication.
Levain, can you tell us about the work you're doing with residents in Milwaukee and how that has shifted, or has it, during COVID?
Yes, that work that I'm doing in Milwaukee with our residents has shifted tremendously due to the pandemic, just for the simple fact that we're used to being face-to-face. The Advantage Services Department, from my perspective, is the compassionate, the human-facing view of the work that we actually do here. And so not being face-to-face with some of our residents has been a challenge. However, we've overcome those challenges by FaceTime calls, Zoom chats, to be able to connect in a positive and meaningful way.
So speaking of connecting, I've heard there are some talented youth artists who are taking part in virtual art programs. Can you tell us a little more about that?
That program is basically after students come in and they make sure that they get the supplies they need, they work with an artist in resident virtually to create different artworks based on different themes. And I think it's never too early to start engaging that creativity and getting those little pistons firing.
Such a positive example of how we're connecting with our residents, and thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Thank you all for your time today and for the wonderful work that you and your colleagues are doing. I am grateful for and impressed by your positivity and compassion for your work and for CommonBond residents. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.